As we continue, don't forget you still have a chance to get raffle tickets. The prizes are over there, so make sure you keep those going. And when we break in a little bit, you'll also have a chance to visit some of these booths, so don't leave before you do that. This next representative also hails from the same area of Newcastle and Rye, and for most of you who know this, is that truly the first armed insurrection of the Revolutionary War, the War for Independence, happened in Newcastle. And what happens, a few gang of patriots got together, and as they always do, they did it around a nice pint of ale. And they got together and they had a few pints and they decided they were going to go take over a fort that we now call Fort Constitution. And in the process of doing that, they had to go through Newcastle. Now, Newcastle, right now, probably historically isn't known for a great town of liberty. There's a mixed bag when you go over to Newcastle, but there's one person over at Newcastle, along with Brian, that's keeping us safe, keeping us secure, and making sure that Rye respects that heritage of being the first location for the first battle of the independence, War for Independence. This next individual, it's funny that, you know, when patriots probably set out on that first day, there's always one guy who probably came out on his lawn and said, "Hey, you patriots, get off my yard." There's always one guy like that. Will is not that guy. Will would be the guy who said, "Patriots, my door's open, pass right through, and do what you need to do for the cause of liberty." We are blessed, 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 blessed to have people such as Will Smith amongst our midst. The best thing I can say about Will is that he is not a great man, he is a good man. A good man trumps everything. A good man walks into that house and says, "What can I do for those people that I represent today?" He does it with such integrity and such pride that sometimes you forget he's a member of the House of Representatives. He's humble, he's sincere, and he's a lot of fun to talk to because he just pays attention to everything. So when you get a chance after he speaks today, make sure you go up and introduce yourself. A great patriot, New Hampshire's own Will Smith, representative from Rye, Newcastle.
Thank you, Jeff. This last 6 months have really been exhilarating. We've had the opportunity to make dramatic change, and Speaker O'Brien talked about those changes in an overview, and without him and without the Deputy Speaker Pam Tucker, we would never have had the leadership that's required. The numbers don't get it to you, leadership is required, and Bill's leadership is based on a wisdom of what's needed and a spine to make it happen. And I've been very proud to be part of his team. I was chairman of Division II Finance, one of the organizations involved in putting together the budget. I'm proud of what we were able to do. We have brought the spending down, as Bill mentioned, by something that we were predicted as to be impossible to do. And apparently in the last 50 years, the most a budget has ever been reduced is 1%, and we took 11% off of the budget. So it was spectacular. But very important to these towns was the issue of Donor Town. And it was in that same budget bill, with the leadership of Senator Stiles, who was here a moment ago and will be speaking, and others in the Senate. Between the Senate and the House, we were able to get rid of the Donor Town by the process of redefining how we're doing adequate funding, and she may be talking about it, but in any case, that problem has been solved. We can check it off, and we can go on to other problems. We've had a series of efforts. Our efforts were to get the spending down and then to get the jobs coming. And one of the things we put a lot of effort into was reduce regulation, as well as bringing ourselves into the bounds of a stable budget, and one in which we don't have accounting gimmicks, and when you're on finance you find out what all those gimmicks were. I had no idea until we went through the budget line by line and found the robbery of dedicated funds. We found the borrowing, the capitalization of operating expense, and all sorts of really great things that were done in the past. So I wanted to say, in addition to the regulation decrease, which is increasing personal freedom as well as increasing job creation, we've been reforming union laws. I was on the Pension Reform Committee, which is a committee that was designed to look at the public pensions and find a way to get them back into control. The pension fund was underfunded. We were funded at about 58%, where the objective would be 80%. So we had about a $4.7 billion unfunded liability that we worked on, and we have done things such as reducing the spiking of our pensions. We've increased the age of retirement. We've done things that are required and are commonplace in private sector, and we are bringing the public sector into similar, but not worse, by no means worse. We also reformed some other union laws. For example, card check, which is the elimination of the secret ballot for instituting unions. That was brought in a few years back, and we have now removed that capability, that law. We have also changed the evergreen contract negotiation, which made it very difficult to get unions back to the table to discuss. Our intention was not to destroy unions, not to create a problem for unions, but to balance the scales so that we would have the kind of respect across the line but for our very important public employees as well as the rest of the state and the taxpayers of the state. We did pass right to work, or actually the name of that was employee free choice, because what it does is it gives the employees of a organization the right to either participate economically or not in the dues of a union. And if they participate, they get the benefits of the union. If they don't get the benefits. And when you do that, you're creating a situation where the union members have more influence over their union bosses. So it's good for the union members as well as it's good for the people who choose not to join the union. And that is important, and it's also important, as you all know from the Boeing situation in South Carolina. If we can make this happen in this state, we would be the only right-to-work state north of Virginia, and we would be an obvious magnet for manufacturing type of jobs throughout our state. So we're hoping to override. We're hoping to override the Governor Lynch's veto. We've almost there. The Senate voted with a veto-proof majority. The House is a couple of votes shy, and we're working very hard. Pam Tucker is one of the people who does the counting of the votes, and Bill O'Brien is helping persuade people that it is in the interest of the state and of the people of the state to go there. So I think we had a very successful 6 months, and that was confirmed when I overheard two Democrats complaining. They said, those Republicans, they've overturned and undone everything we've done in the last 4 years.